Hello and welcome to Security. This is a continuation of the Cyber Defense Pathway project. If you've not been following along, this is a project where I am basically going step by step through the Cyber Defense Pathway on Tryhackme.com, and I'm doing like walkthroughs for each room, and that's step. So I'm gonna leave a link. So far, what we've done introductory networking, we've done network services, and today what we're going to do is network services. These network services to room. At least a part of it. So yeah, if this is something that sounds interesting to you, you can follow the link and follow along with the project. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here you can read through the note that says basically welcoming you to the room and telling you about prerequisites and how to connect to the Tryhackme environment. And that's task 1. And task 2 also, you read through the notes and you'll be able to answer the questions at the bottom here about NFS. So let's go straight into task 3, which is the actual hands-on part. So here it talks about deploying the room. Okay, you have to read through these notes as well, and you start the machine and allow it to boot up. So I'm just going to do that now. Start the machine, give it some time to show the IP address and also some time to boot up, because you're going to do some enumeration, and for that to work properly, you want all the services to be running properly before you do the enumeration. So yeah, I just give some time to boot up. I'll read through these notes, and yeah, when it's done, I'll put back the video. Okay, so now we're back. I've given the system a long time to boot up and to be sure that all services are properly running. So now we can go into the questions. The first question says, conduct a thorough port scan of your choosing. How many ports are open? So if you read through the notes, under port scanning here, it says do a very thorough port scan, but it suggests you use the A and B tags. So the capital A tag says basically that it should carry out both script scanning, version scanning, OS detection, as well as traceroute. And the P tag with dashes at either side basically says you should go beyond the well-known ports for a more thorough scan. So what I'll do now is pull up my terminal, and I'm going to run the nmap with the options as suggested. I'm going to put in the IP address of my target, which is 10.10.211.81. So this is going to probably take some time, a long time actually. So I'll just pause the video and start it up when it's done. Okay, so basically maybe I can do it in a better way where I can put in the V tag to see what's going on during the scan. Or I can even use a double V to make it more verbose. So same thing is going to take a while. I'll just give it a couple of minutes or as long as it takes. I'll pause the video and come back when it's done. Okay, so now the scan is done, and if I scroll up, this scan actually took a while. It took about 15 minutes to complete, so you have to give it enough time for it to run. And you can see the first question: how many ports are open? You can see the ports 22. That's 1. Port 111 is 2. Sorry about it. 111 is 2. 204934567. So that's the answer for number 1. How many ports are open? Which port is running the service we're looking to enumerate? So basically, which port is running NFS? You can see 2049 is running NFS. 22 is running SSH. 111 is running RPC bind. So our answer should be 2049. Now use this command to list the NFS shares. What is the name of the visible share? So we can copy this. Command as, and we need to replace that with our IP address. So the IP address is 10.10.211.81, and you can see /home. So time to mount the share to our local machine. So first use this command to create a directory on your machine to mount the share to. And so run that command. Make dir /tmp mount. So that's done. And the next thing, then use the mount command we broke down earlier to mount the NFS share location to your local machine. Change the directory to where you mounted the share. So it says this is the command to mount, and we can copy that command, basically just edit it. So it says sudo mount NFS and not IP, and the IP is 10.10.211.81, and our share is what /home, and we can mount it. Okay, so now go into the tmp/mount and list. So you can see we're in the mounted directory now, and there's a folder there called cappuccino. Let's see. So what is the name of the folder inside? And that's it, cappuccino. Have a look inside this directory. Look at the files. Looks like we're inside a user's home directory. Okay, so we can see into the cappuccino, and we can look. Yes. Okay, you can see some hidden folders here, but nothing. These are the only files I can see. Can't really see anything that is not hidden. Let's see what the next task is. So it says, interesting, let's do a bit of research. Have a look through the folders. Which of these folders could contain keys that would give us remote access to the server? If you remember, the server is also running SSH, and this .ssh is probably where the SSH keys are going to be stored. And so if you look at go into the .ssh folder, you can see, as suspected, the keys, both the public and private keys of the server stored. So the answer for that is .ssh. Next question, which is most useful for us? The IDR says private key, and that's what you, as a client, you're going to be using to connect to the server. So that is the IDRC. So copy this file into a different location on your machine and change the permission to 600 using the chmod command. So I can copy IDRC. So let me say my home directory. Okay. So now I can cd back to my home directory. ls IDRC should be here. Okay. So I change IDRC. Okay, so that's done. Assuming we are right about what type of directory this is, we can pretty work out the name of the user this key corresponds to. Can we log on to the machine? So how do you get the username? Usually in the, if you read the key, you should be able to find the username of the user. So let's read the IDRC. Oh, not the private key, the public key. The public key. So let's go back to our share directory. I'm going to cappuccino. Going to .ssh, and if we read the public key file, here we should see the username is right here, cappuccino at polo NFS. So cappuccino is the username. So let's now SSH into the folder using the IDRC file that we have here in our home folder. Using the username cappuccino, and that's our folder. Our target system. And let's try that box. So why is it still asking me for a password? Did I copy the wrong key file? I'm going to try that again. Because I already had another private key in this same folder from a formal task. So I'm thinking maybe I'm using that key. So what I'm just going to do is create another folder and copy the private key of cappuccino from the mount folder directly to this folder. .sh/id. Okay, so I'm copying it to cappuccino. Okay, so now I can see the new cappuccino folder. I should have the IDRC here, and I can let's see. Okay, so now I can change 1 to 600. I do it. Okay, so now let me try the SSH command from here using this key. Okay, and now I'm into the server. So I probably was using the wrong SSH key earlier of the formal task I did. So now we are into target. And that's the end of task 3. So now we can go to task 4, which is exploiting NFS. Okay, so exploiting NFS. Basically, you can read through the note, but what we're going to try to do here in summary, so that we're going to exploit a vulnerability known as the misconfigured root squash. So generally, you're not supposed to allow people that connect to your NFS share to get a privileged shell or privileged access. You're supposed to give them a low privilege shell where they can just get the files that they want to get and that you want to share and leave. But basically, if you do not configure those root squash correctly, then they will be able to use the setuid, which the setuid, when you give an application or a program the setuid permission, it allows it to run. It allows the folder to run as the owner of the, the file to run as the owner or to execute as the owner of the file. So let's say I give setuid permission to a file, and the owner of the file is root. So every time that file is running, it's going to run as root. So what we're going to do here is going to get a bash shell, bash executable shell that's going to give us remote access to this system, and or basically that's going to give us privileged access to the system. So we're going to upload it to the NFS share and change the SUID permissions to root, and then we'll be able to log in through SSH and execute the executable, which will give us root access. So yeah, let's go. So it says change into the mount point on your machine where the NFS. So what I'm going to do is probably split my terminal again. It says change directly into the mount point on your machine where the NFS should still be mounted. So that's on my temp mount directory, and I still have it there, cappuccino. Okay, then into the user's home directory, which is cappuccino. Okay, so download the bash executable to your downloads directory, then copy it here. So it shares the bash executable here, and all you have to do is click on this link to download it. Okay, you can just download it here and save. So now I have it in my downloads directory. I can use this command as the specified here to copy it to the shared folder. Okay, now that is done. So you can make the shell to be owned by the root user. The setuid, using the setuid. First of all, to be owned, change the ownership first of all to the root user using the change own command. Okay, that is done. And now the next thing we're going to do is do the setuid command. So here it says now we're going to use the setuid bits permission to the bash executable using this command, and the letter to do that is S, and so we just basically run the command here, chmod plus S, to our bash file. That's done. So now when we run this bash executable, it should run as root and give us a privileged shell. So it says, let's do a sanity check. Check the permissions using this command and what does permission look like. So run this command ls-la bash, and you can see okay, so right now it looks like this. It looks different because we have not added the executable permission to the file. So we also have to add the executable permission to the file. And so to do that, you can basically say chmod a+x bash. Oh yeah, that I made a mistake here. So basically, before you change the ownership to the root user, you have to put in that executable permission. So what I'm gonna do is just remove the bash file, sorry, and copy it again. Okay, so now I have the bash file back. I'm going to give it the executable permissions now, first of all. Okay, so now it has the executable permissions. I'll run the commands again, change owner to root, and give it again the set UID permissions. Okay, so now this should work. Okay, so now it has a set UID permissions and it's an executable. So now SSH into the machine as a user, list the directory to make sure we have the bash executable there, and run it with this command. So the p tag persists the permission so that it can run as root with SUID, as otherwise bash will sometimes drop the permissions. Okay, so now we have to run. We're still connected with SSH into the machine. Run this folder. Okay, so first of all, let's ls to be sure that we have the bash file that we just shared, and run the command bash p, and yeah, so this should give us the root shell that we need. So run it, and yeah, we have the root shell. So for ls, you can see we are still in the same folder, but with a root shell now. And if we cd to the root directory, let's say cd. Okay, now first of all, let's see what the next task is. So great. If that's gone well, you should have a shell as root. What is the root flag? So the root flag should be in the root home directory. So let me see if I can do that. cd / let's see ls, and if we go into the home directory ls, rather let's go into the root directory. And if we open up this root.txt, you can see the flag. Okay, and yeah, so we've successfully exploited NFS, and the next task is task 5, which is SMTP. So I'll terminate this machine now and stop this video here. And yeah, I'll continue with the understanding SMTP in the next video. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.